Good morning, good morning. Hope you guys are enjoying your Wednesday morning. It's a nice, lovely day here in South Philly. Just a mere 10 minutes out from the link. I'm getting out of the gym right now, enjoying my morning. And I can't help but feel after, almost 2 days now removed from Monday Night Football, almost 3 from our victory over the Green Bay Packers, I can't help but feel a little disrespected as an Eagles fan, simply due to the fact that we are continuing to be the word really is still disrespected, but realistically we aren't being valued as the team that we are. People look at Sunday's game and point out the many flaws that there are with how the offense performed and, the way the Eagles played and won the game against these Green Bay Packers, who, let's be completely honest, let's spit the truth, like I always do. They were injured. They were coming into a rough and intimidating environment here in Philadelphia. It was not the same team that came into Brazil a mere 19 weeks ago, which is insane to think about. And pushed us to the edge, and it wasn't the same game, and the Eagles weren't the same team either. And I think people need to understand something. Not every matchup is going to go the way that you plan it to go. Not every matchup is going to be the same as it was a few weeks ago. Look at how the Rams and Vikings game went on Monday night. Those two played relatively sooner or closer to their playoff match than the Eagles and the Packers did. And it was a completely different game than that game was, because you saw what happened, the missed face mask. The Vikings were still, at the bare minimum, competitive. This time around, you saw some true colors from guys like Sam Darnold and Kevin O'Connell. They are not ready for the big-time moment. And that's the difference right there between teams like the Chiefs, like the Bills, like the Ravens, like the Eagles, and like the Lions. These teams have won playoff games over the last 2 seasons or more. These teams have been put into big-time, prime-time matches, playoff-like environments in the regular and postseason, and have managed to win these games when they need to, however they have to. And that's the biggest thing that I take away from the way the Eagles have played football this year. They're fighting no matter what, no matter how ugly the game may be, no matter how many points they put up, no matter how many turnovers are made on their side, on the opposing team's side. They are still fighting till their last breath, until the clock strikes 0 in the fourth quarter. 22-10 might not look all that impressive, but when it comes down to it, this team didn't need to be impressive to win this game. And there's a multitude of reasons why they weren't. And it's not making excuses. It is just being completely honest and looking at the bare facts. And the facts is that this team was playing their first game as a cohesive unit for the first time in almost 2 months. Dallas Goedert has been out with injury since late November. Jalen Hurts has been out with a concussion for the last 3 weeks. You saw this team struggle against the Washington Commanders team without Jalen Hurts, and you saw this team blow out a very poorly matched Dallas Cowboy team without him. And you saw 2 quarterbacks also have to play in that game, because guess what? Those quarterbacks couldn't last and couldn't take the hits like Jalen can. And at the end of the day, different players, different ways of making plays happen. And Jalen Hurts, he doesn't have to beat you and throw 400 yards. How many more times do we have to go through the stats and have some idiot try to fight the idea that you'd rather have Joe Burrow right now in this offense as opposed to Jalen Hurts? The fact of the matter is that, of course, everyone would rather have Joe Burrow given the year that he had. He had the best passing, touchdown to interception ratio, total yards passing. Of course, you'd want him over Jalen Hurts, over Pat Mahomes, over everybody with how he played. But look at the record that he had. And that comes down to the team. And this is a team sport. Joe Burrow probably should have been in the playoffs. They couldn't win certain games early on, and that's on them. That's on the Bengals. That's on Joe Burrow. That's on Zach Taylor. They're not a good team. They were not a good team. They got hot way too late, and that's that. The Eagles are a 14-3 team, no matter how you look at it. They're a run-first, pass-second type of team that'll beat you from the ground up, starting at the defensive line. That's where this team is different from the rest of the NFL, and that's how you win football games. Defense wins championships. No matter how many times we want to see, like, sit back and look at how this NFL has turned into a passing league. This league isn't the same. We understand that, but defense is still just as important as it was 20, 40, 60 years ago. No matter what, if your defense can make that one play, for example, Brandon Graham strip sacking Tom Brady, do you think the Eagles win that game if he doesn't do that? There's a lot of question marks about that. That was the only turnover that the Patriots committed, and it led to 3 points that put the game out of hand for the Patriots. That is the example. That defense that year was not getting it done in the Super Bowl. But that one play, that one takeaway, that one strip sack won the game. In the Super Bowl 2 years ago, do you think that if the Eagles made one stop, be it in the first half or in the second half when the Chiefs got hot, or I don't know, if that penalty wasn't called against James Bradberry, do you think that the Chiefs still win that football game? There's a lot of questions about it, and what's the side that is to blame? The defense. Joe Burrow didn't have a defense this year. Jalen Hurts didn't have a defense 2 years ago, so he had to put the team on his back. This year, everybody is playing complementary football, and that is the title of this video because that is what's most important. Complementary football. Your offense takes care of business when they need to. The defense takes care of business when they need to. And if one side needs to put themselves on each other's back, they'll do it. It doesn't matter because this is a team sport. It is not just about the quarterback. It's not just about one player. Saquon Barkley can rush for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Eagles can still lose 42-14. That's how it goes. So I don't want to hear nothing. At the end of the day, this team is a 6-point favorite against the Rams for a reason, because they are the better football team. And you'll hear more about it on Friday, but I just needed to air out that little bit of I just am tired of hearing questions about the quarterback, about the head coach, when this team has done nothing but win for the last 3 years. Even with the collapse of last year, this team has won more than they've lost, and why can't we just focus on that?